The organisers of the Coys Festival accorded Nigel Mansell special status with solo demonstration runs in 3 different cars. His contribution appreciated by Bernie Ecclestone.
He's a special guy. Nigel's a bit special. Lots. Well, he was obviously one of the top racing drivers, and I often thought he should have got an Oscar for acting as well. I mean, he was a good actor. He was super for our sport. We need people like him.
Come on, Roseanne doesn't like being... yeah, we got Nigel. Your wife doesn't... now, in the old days, Nigel Mansell's favourite trick when I interviewed him was to grab the microphone table and then knee me in the gearbox. Nigel, you're obviously in playful mood today. You're really enjoying this occasion.
Yeah, it's tremendous. I think all the fans here today, it's for them. It's just, it's phenomenal, really, and I hope the car works well, because I'm going to give this one the berries now, just to make the mechanics look a bit worried.
The berries. This is a very special car. We think this is the chassis, the first Formula 1 car you ever drove, 79/3.
Yes, it is, and it feels exactly the same, and the memories it brings back is just incredible.
Reflect on the moment that Colin Chapman phoned you out and said you're going to test a Lotus.
Yeah, I can reflect on that moment very much, because I was lying on my back with a broken back at that time, and he says, we're testing 5 new hot shoes next week for drive for the next year. Would you like to take a test to see if you could be one of the test drivers for next year? And he said, but I believe you had an accident. I said, oh no, that's someone else. And of course we went down to Paul Ricard, we had a great time, and we started a friendship.
Well, of course, at the time you were really struggling. Roseanne over there was you had to sell your house, and it was all to get your racing career going. And I think you ought to say just a few words about how important she was to your career.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. There's a lot of people that are very important, but without Roseanne's support, then just like Colin Chapman, I wouldn't be here today. And more importantly, she's been with me, nursing me through a few accidents, shall we say, and I've been through good times, bad times.
Thank you very much, Nigel. I'm going to still try and get an interview with Roseanne Mansell, you see. What I want to know...
Just so you know, this will be the first if she ever says anything.
Roseanne, this was a very special car to you, because this was the breakthrough.
It certainly was. It was the start of it all, really, wasn't it?
And times were tough, weren't they?
They were tough, actually. You look back and you think we must have been mad, totally mad.
I phoned you up from Ricard and said it was
He did. He phoned me up and he said, I think I've made a big mistake here. Don't like it. But that didn't last very long, did it?
The 4th pre-1972 Classic Grand Prix car race is next. The front of the grid seeing Mike Littlewood's Lotus 72 alongside Matthew Marsh in the Brabham Repco. The lights go to green and away they go. And feast your eyes on the sight of a JPS Lotus 72 going down towards Cops Corner. Fabulous car, and Mike Littlewood drives it as hard as anyone. This great field of pre-1972 then Grand Prix cars turns its way through Cops Corner. There are a few Formula 2 and Formula 5000 shapes mixed in there for good measure, but Mike Littlewood is getting away already as they power their way now on up towards Beckett's for the first time. Sid Hoole going through in second place with the Brabham BT33, but look at the way that Mike Littlewood is rocketing away from the rest of them already. Out of Beckett's, through Chapel Curve and onto the Hanger Straight. Fantastic cars to look at, fantastic noises they make as well. The Cosworth DFB powered Lotus then in the lead. Sid Hoole in second place as they come underneath the bridge down towards Stowe for the first time. The field getting a little bit strung out, but with so many cars in the races at the Coys Historic Festival this year, battles are not hard to find. 2 and sometimes 3 abreast diving down towards Stowe as Mike Littlewood now tries to make good his escape. Head down, the fabulous Lotus 72 then being driven very hard. Into Club Corner it comes now. Mike Littlewood swings his way through, back on the power and accelerates off up towards Abbey. Sid Hoole in the Brabham there in second place, the BT33. I rather doubt now he's going to be able to do much about the Lotus. The way that Mike Littlewood is going suggests that this is going to be a relatively easy drive for him. However, he's got the hard part of not making a mistake. He's got to keep his concentration right the way through this under no pressure from those around. But down he comes then, in front of the BRDC's very impressive new clubhouse into Brooklands. Battle going on there, look, Nick Shrigley-Fiegel in the Lola, the Formula 5000 car, overtaken by the Spaniard, Joachim von Schrossinol, diving through there in the Lotus, under-braking for Priory. The Spaniard in the Lotus 49, another fabulous looking car, gains a place then. And the muscular Formula 5000 Lola now looking for a way past. He may not have the edge through the corners, but in a straight line, Nick Shrigley-Fiegel ought to be able to fight back. Sid Hoole there, going over the line. He was being delayed a little bit by Ken Gladys in his Lola, the T142. Ken Gladys, who's seen racing modern single-seaters, now having a go in historics, but getting in the way there. Number 21 making his way through, that's Ron Maiden with the Cooper Alfa Romeo. problems, I think, for that car, and a replay here of a spin for David Koplow, an experienced driver of historic sports cars as well as single-seaters, but his McLaren swaps ends on him. Meantime, though, Nick Shrigley-Beagle still being able to fend off number 1 Joachim Foch-Rossenol. He's powered his way through, then he goes wide, look, over the curb there, loses a place, loses 2 places, because back ahead of him as well there goes Bobby Bell in the BRM. The ex-Jackie Oliver car that finished 5th in the 1970 Austrian Grand Prix gains a place, and Bobby Bell now looking for a way to get past the Spaniard, Joachim Foch, as they come over the line. Bobby Bell looks to the inside line, is he close enough to have a go? He levels now with the Spaniard. The BRM can't find a way past the Lotus though. Into Cops Corner they go. Now Bobby Bell all over the back of Joachim Foch, who also races 1980s Grand Prix cars as well. But here they come now, up towards Beckett. For 1969, Lotus 49C fending off the BRM. But there is very much the class of the field. The ex-Emerson Fittipaldi Lotus turning its way through now in the hands of Mike Littlewood, about to accelerate on, up towards the line. He's absolutely dominated this category all weekend. Fastest in qualifying, has led the race from the moment the lights went to green, and Mike Littlewood now comes up across the line. Checkered flag is already. Mike Littlewood wins here at Silverstone in the pre-1972 Classic Grand Prix car race, and he does so in style. Sid Hoole comes through for 2nd place with Matthew Marsh 3rd, but then here is the fight for 4th place. Joachim Foch just ahead of Bobby Bell, who's quicker, coming through the upfield. Can he find a gap? Yes, they're side by side. Absolutely together, these two, coming up through Woodcote Corner. Joachim Foch just dives across there, closes the door. He will just take 4th place. Bobby Bell taking 5th, and 6th goes to Nick Shrigley-Beagle. Great race. So Mike Littlewood, a dominant winner. Sid Hoole coming home in 2nd place ahead of the similar Brabham of Matthew Marsh. Joachim Foch-Rossenol 4th from Bobby Bell, and Nick Shrigley-Beagle rounding out the top 6. But champagne for the winner. That's in the red overalls is Mike Littlewood after a great drive here.
A pair of Surtees TS9s were entered for that race, and although neither started, John did demonstrate one of his own cars, and he talked to Neville Hay about his experiences as a team owner.
Now a director of the British Racing Drivers Club, one couldn't say that Silverstone was particularly kind to you as a constructor, because in 1973 it wiped out your entire team.
Yes, you could say I stood on the pit wall over there, and I saw a certain person come round, lose it in the biggest possible way, come back onto the circuit, and of course cause everybody to crash. And 3 of my cars, the first time I'd run 3 cars in a race, and it wiped out 3 cars.
Tony Brooks, another with experience of crashing at Silverstone, in his case from the driving seat of a troublesome BRM.
But Abbey Curve, I've been taking flat. I must have been raving mad in the BRM. And whilst I've been in the pits, there've been some oil and rubber put downs, you know, in the 7 or 8 laps in that period. And when I came to Abbey Curve, it was a situation where I just wanted a quick lift on the accelerator and down again. And of course, when I lifted off, the accelerator didn't come back off. So I finished with a stuck throttle, and just went lightly onto the grass, which with a decent handling car, I just run along for 150 yards or so, and edged back onto the circuit. But with the BRM, you know, once you got anything untoward happening, such as edging on the grass, totally went out of control, spun round, went to the outside of the circuit, hit the bank, threw me out, and did the only decent thing and set itself on fire. Fortunately, I was lying on the grass watching it.
For the Autosport Formula 1 demonstration, Sheridan Thin assembled a mouth-watering array of desirable machinery, some of them driven by their original pilots. Maria Teresa De Filippis in a 250 Maserati, she of course the first woman to drive a World Championship Grand Prix. Tony Brooks in Connaught's most successful model, the Type B. Sir Jack Brabham won 2 of his world titles in a works Cooper like this, going on to become the only man to win the championship in a car bearing his own name. Privateer Paul Osborne was out in the fabulous Tyrrell 019, and another recent machine, John Watson at the helm of Jordan's first Grand Prix car, the 191. Cliff Allison in a replica of the Lancia D50 twin-tank machine owned and recreated by Robin Lodge. Nick Mason's V16 BRM was driven by his chief mechanic Ray Bolter, the man who had just reassembled the inordinately intricate V16 engine. French star Jean-Pierre Beltoire's in a Gordini, successfully driven by Fangio, among others. Jose Albuquerque's Maserati 250F was driven by Sir Stirling Moss, who gives us a running commentary of a lap.
Under the start-finish line there, or under the bridge just by it, and then flat out down now into the next corner. Coming into this corner again, you start on the left, pull it across to the right, over to the left. That's where I went off with the BRM when they had a complete brake failure, quite frightening. Now you come into this section here of these very fast sort of S's. Clip it over to the left, then right across to the right, almost lifting the front wheel over that edge. Across to the left, you can't get as far to the right as I'd like to. You come round that left-hand corner, but this is the important one, the right-hander, because the right-hander, once again, you get your foot in there, you should not lift off until you're on the straight. In other words, you're powering through the left-hander, letting the car slide across to the road on the right, and then under the bridge, and by now you'll be flat out. There goes Nigel Mansell in a modern Formula One car. I mean, that probably would do in its day about 145, 150 miles an hour, maybe a smidgen more. Come down into this corner at the end of the straight, over to the left, clip into the right, hold it to the right, and now put the power on quite hard, let the car drift across to the left, and then you aim straight for this narrow, which you can just about see coming up on the right. Get to that, and then you pull across to the left to a blind apex. Seeing that left hand is quite difficult, actually. And now, once again, another one of these corners where once you get the power in, you've got to be able to, or should be able to hold it down. You shouldn't have to back off because it's going to affect your speed up this straight to Abbey Curve. Abbey Curve is a very fast left-hander, taken flat out. Whatever happens, you've just got to take that thing flat out. Even in the wet, and it's not easy. Right, you go around there, across to the right. You can go even more than that if you need to. I didn't need to at the time. And here we are coming under the bridge. Drop down a cog. Into the right, let it slide out to the left, power hard on now, then you come across, get to the right as much as you can, brakes quite hard, into the left, power on now, not too hard, now you pour the power on, bring the back around as well, and across to the right hand side of the road, tucking into the left again, and power on, not too hard yet, hold it, now start to pour the power in onto this short straight, and I'm putting my hand up to show that I'm going in, that's what that was.
Yeah, well, Sterling's special. I mean, he's another special guy. Should have won the World Championship a few times. And I was very happy when he was knighted, because it's the sort of thing that people like him should be knighted.
Now, 10 tenths is maximum. What are you doing by your standard?
Oh, then about seven and a half. I mean, no more than that, because A, it's not my car. B, if you make a mistake, you don't have to get a lot of egg on your face.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise it was Nigel, otherwise I'd balked him. I didn't see him coming. He said, wow, then he's past, and then he's two all over, you know. But no, it is a super car. I mean, there's no doubt about it. A 250F Mazda is one of the nicest cars to play with, really.
And you've just put another £1 million on the value, haven't you?
Yeah, but I didn't win with it, did I?
A legend himself, commentator Murray Walker, reminisced with Neville Hay about the early days.
I started at Shelsley Walsh in 1948 when they had, 1948, they had a combined car and motorcycle meeting. And my father was supposed to be doing the BBC commentary. And something happened to him and he couldn't do it. They put someone else in his place. And they knew I wanted to do some public address because I'd given up riding. I retired at the peak of my career after I'd won a 250cc heat at Brands Hatch when it was a grass track in the opposite direction. So I had a crack at this, and I thought, Neville, there is only one person here that I want to reach, and that was a chap called Jim Pestridge, who was the BBC's motorsport radio producer. So I subjected the thousands of people at Shelsley Walsh to a non-stop blast of commentary, as a result of which I got an audition at Goodwood, and that audition worked, and as a result of that they asked me to do the 1949 British Grand Prix, and as a result of that, Neville, I have the honour and privilege of talking to you now.